Welcome to Three Nice Things, the podcast that has decided we've been so mean to these movies. It's time to say three nice things. You can find more about this show and others like it at our network's website, radiomeanwhile.com. We have a forum for you to share your thoughts on this and upcoming movies. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Nice Things Pod, and please rate, subscribe, and share this show on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And today, we are talking about the 1997 film, Alien Resurrection. I'm Eric Mickles, known online as duskvstweak, and with me is Marius, aka Ensville Games.
Hello.
And also, sci-fi author and streamer, Crystal Storm.
Hello, hello.
This is the fourth film in the Alien series, and Alien Resurrection was filmed on a budget of $75 million.
Sorry.
In 1997 money, too.
What's that in real money nowadays? Like 200 million?
I want to look up the Alien and Aliens budget and want to just...
Oh, I'm sure they're like $12 million.
Right, it's like, and this one was like 75, whatever. 11! Alien, the first Alien was 11 million.
Ooh, I should put money on that. I'm so close.
Oh my god, and
Nice.
Aliens, 18.5.
Yeah.
Huh.
So you had more, like, double,
Mhm.
more than double both those movies, and you put out that trash.
There's a lot of CGI in this as well.
Yeah, 90s
Whatever.
CGI wasn't cheap, you know.
Yeah. If you want a contemporary movie to compare it to, The Lost World, the second Jurassic Park movie, cost about $80 million, came out the same year. So you can kind of look at those.
Okay.
Upon release, the movie went on to make only $48 million in North America, but it did get a worldwide total of $161 million, according to Box Office Mojo. So it had a more successful international release. At the time of recording, it has a critic score of 56% on Rotten Tomato.
That's too high.
Huh.
But
That's generous.
it has an audience score of 39%. This makes this movie the first film we've covered where the audience score is lower than the critics. Let's talk about our histories with the Alien series in general first, so people know where we're coming from on this fourth film. And you're the one who suggested this episode. So why don't you tell us first, when did you first start watching the Alien series, and what is the series to you?
For me, my history started with my parents actually went to, I think, the local premiere of the movie at a local theater.
Which one? Which
The
movie?
first movie, Alien.
First Alien, okay.
You know, when I was just a wee sprog, as it were. And I guess they gave out some swag there because I know they had like an album with like pictures from the movie and stuff.
At the
And,
first film?
Yeah, and like some of the HR gear designs and stuff.
Wow.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and I'm like, "What is this?" And they told me it was from a movie or something. And I looked at that weird stuff, and I was like, "This looks freaky," but I couldn't understand it when I first looked at that stuff. I remember seeing it. It was like kept in a room somewhere where I just picked it up sometimes. I'm like, "Oh, hi, this is cool." So eventually, I watched the movie when I was old enough. I don't know.
Well, it came out in 1979,
And, yeah.
so close.
I think I liked the first movie ever since I first saw it. I still maintain that it's a fantastic, it's a great horror movie. Not relying as much on jump scares and stuff as horror movies today do, even though it's got that constant tension of being hunted and stuff. And I watched the second movie years later, obviously, and I love it still today. It's a fantastic action movie. There's a third movie. I just acknowledge this when people talk about it, and it was whatever. It's The fourth one I remember watching. I think we rented it on VHS.
Oh, so you didn't see Alien Resurrection in theaters?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
And I remember hating it and thinking it was so stupid. And the baby was the absolute frickin' worst. I'm fond of the franchise. I'm very fond of the design, the original. I didn't much care for Prometheus, which is kind of alien adjacent in the universe. And what's the last one called? Alien Covenant?
Yeah.
That is a steaming, burning pile of garbage, as far as I'm concerned. So I basically count the two first Alien movies, Alien and Aliens, as wonderful things. everything that came after is kind of no. Yeah, longtime fan of Alien, of the Xenomorphs.
Crystal, what about you?
So I'm pretty sure that I saw Aliens before I saw Alien, but Aliens is my favorite movie of like all time. And I'm a pretty big like movie buff. Like I love going to the movies. Aliens was just like a masterpiece of a freaking movie for me. I love
movie theater or VHS when you saw Alien.
I'm pretty sure I've seen, except the new ones, the Alien and Aliens. I saw both VHS, like on the little TV.
Nice.
I wish I had seen those in movie theaters. Those are amazing. So yeah, I mean, if I had to rank them, it would be Aliens and Aliens. But I kind of think that's a personal preference for me. I feel like cinematically, Alien might be the better movie because of what Ridley Scott did with it. But I just love Aliens more because I love the way James Cameron kind of expanded on the universe and the alien mythos in the right way, in my opinion.
First two are so different that I feel like it's not really a thing like which one is better. It's like, do you rather the horror film or the action film? But they're both like good at what they do for those. True.
So I don't hate Alien 3, but I don't really like it. But if you were going to end the trilogy that way, I wouldn't I'd be okay with it. But again, I say that real hesitantly because Alien 3 had a lot of problems, but it was not the absolute freaking crap that Alien Resurrection was. And Alien, it was just crap. It was just so disrespectful to the franchise and the aliens and freaking Ripley's character and I'm just mad. It's just crap. Prometheus I liked. Covenant was also crap. Just freaking crap, and Ridley Scott needs to stop making alien movies and just let what is his last name? Neil Blond, how do you say his name? Whatever his vision was of Alien, I want to see it. And I wish Ridley Scott would stop with his freaking diva moment at this point. And if you want to make a stupid movie about your little freaking android David, then go do it. But people who like the Aliens franchise don't care. We don't freaking care.
So angry. I love it.
I know. Big fan of the Alien series, though.
Yes. Okay. No, I do. I love it. I love the mythos. I think they need to make a movie out of Alien Isolation because even though I never finished that game
you're
because
too
I don't
scared.
I'm too scared. I've watched like all the videos about it because I'm an Alien fan. So it's just great. I have Alien books actually on my bookshelf too. I'm like a huge Alien fan.
Did you see Alien Resurrection in theaters?
Heck no.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'd have been so bad.
All right. I don't know what people are doing in November 9th. All right. For myself, I would not say I'm a fan of the Alien franchise. It's a film series that I'm always kind of interested in, but it's never really hooked me. Like I've watched them. It's taken me a long time. Like I saw the first one when I was like maybe 19, and then I saw the second one a year after that, and then the third one a decade after that. And Alien Resurrection maybe just like 2 years ago. So it's definitely one that even though I've watched at this point all the films, it's a series that I'm like viewing it from like the outside, you know.
So you watched this recently then?
Resurrection,
like years ago.
Yeah, I saw Prometheus in theaters and I really enjoyed it, and I think the reason why it made so much money because they called it Prometheus, and they probably should have just ignored. He should have just made an original sci-fi film, and he would have. Then people like me would have been like, "This was cool," and people like you wouldn't be upset by all the alien stuff. I did not like Alien Covenant. I just thought that was.
Nope.
I don't know who he was trying to make happy with that because it made
himself.
It made no one happy. Yeah,
that was literally he made a movie for him, and look, that's fine. I don't want to take away the license of like a creator. Like you want to make something for you, make it for you. That's fine.
Yeah.
It just felt like he didn't understand.
When did you guys first watch Alien Resurrection then? Because it came out in '97. I only just watched it like 2 years ago on DVD.
I watched it around the time it came out and then never watched it again.
So like VHS 98?
Yeah, okay. And then watched it again with friends last night.
Wait, so really? You guys watched Resurrection in 98 and then never again?
Never. No, never.
Right.
Never.
Wow. Okay.
I was excited. It was
trash.
An movie, you know? I was like, the third one was but maybe this one will be awesome.
Right.
And it's got Chastin's name on it.
Right.
And then I'm quite sure I never watched it again.
Wow.
And I was interested to hear that you watched it like only 2 years ago or whatever.
Only 2 years ago, and then again last night. So Alien fans hating it makes sense to me. Absolutely. I don't think I hate the film. I just think it's just weird and I don't understand its tone, so I don't think it's good. But again, without that like Alien series fandom, it's hard for me to like hate the movie. But this isn't a film when people. I'm not watching going like, why don't Alien fans like this?
Yeah.
You know? What's wrong with them?
What's not to like?
Don't they see what he's doing? I feel like, for me, I relate to the Alien fans with Terminator, because I love the first, like, I like the first two Terminators, Terminator 2 being, like, one of my favorites of all time, and then that's also just a franchise that's, like, every time they do something, it's like, please stop, just let it die.
That's another franchise where they, like, actually only made 2 movies.
Yeah, and it went, they did a horror film first, and then an action film second, and then a bunch of crazy stuff.
After that, they just got confused.
And summarize/spoil Alien Resurrection, so we can get into it. Alien Resurrection opens 200 years after Aliens 3. We also got to spoil Aliens 3, everybody, so sorry. But at the end of Aliens 3, Ripley is impregnated with the alien queen, and she throws herself into the...
It's a big incinerator. And
yeah,
technically she
like in
was
Terminator 2.
impregnated.
Right.
So
Yeah,
technically
except
she was
doesn't get the thumbs up.
impregnated at the end of Aliens because the queen,
That's
when the queen got on the ship, somehow dropped eggs and impregnated her and Newt, and Hicks just died or whatever. So when she lands on this gross prison planet in 3, she's got one inside her, and in the end, she does this awesome. I jump into the fire. I have an alien inside me. It jumps out of her chest.
Yep.
Kills the alien and herself, and the movie ends with that. And so she's gone. Alien Resurrection is 200 years after that. So ends. Take us through.
And basically, there's this. It's a science
vessel.
Ship. Yeah. Well, they have a Ripley. They have a Sigourney Weaver.
I can't remember where they said they get her blood from.
I can't either.
I can't either.
There's a lot of big plot holes in that.
They have her DNA, and did the xenomorph bond with her DNA?
I guess that's what they're saying. They have her DNA from the prison planet, so they clone her, and they're not cloning her to get her back. They're cloning her to get the alien queen back.
Yeah,
and so
which they do eventually, sort of, kind of.
Yeah,
because they have Ripley. As it turns out, she's Ripley number 8.
Yep,
because they have cloned her a few times with varying levels of success, and this one seems functional. She's also she seems mentally unstable a bit, aggressive, and freakishly strong.
She's got superpowers,
and it's revealed also that she has some acid blood.
Yep, she's basically a hybrid herself. She's human alien, so she's got super strength and acid blood, and she can sense the xenomorphs as well.
Yes, indeed, because they want to, I guess, domesticate or train.
They want to train the xenomorphs. Yep,
they want to teach them to sit and stuff, which we see them kind of doing. With
Ripley has her previous memories because the xenomorphs have genetic memory.
Yes,
which translates to her, so she can remember some stuff.
And then I guess also that's part of why she can, sort of relate with the aliens a bit. Because she has some of their genetic memory shtick going.
Well, it's also basically so they can be like, no, it's still Ripley. Don't worry, guys. It's still Ripley.
Yeah, really. If we're counting this movie as canon, which I guess it is. And
No.
Everyone can see that it's not normal Ripley. And for some reason, money, they let this group of mercenaries on board.
Yeah, the mercenaries are delivering humans in stasis.
Yeah, they're delivering stasis pods of humans that they've...
but Winona Ryder's there to try to kill the alien. And then we find out she's a robot.
Yes, she's not Lance Henriksen. She's not a bishop. She's the next model.
Yeah.
Designed to be an asshole or whatever they say.
But then the aliens, guess what? They get out.
What do you know? Who would have thought?
And there's an alien queen, right? The alien queen gets out, and everything. Now they're just trying to get off the station. The ship. The ship is heading back to Earth, so they got to blow up the ship. The rest of the movie is basically just like a weird horror, not weird horror, but like a weird haunted house kind of movie where they're all running from the mercenaries, and Ripley team up and meet some people along the way. They're trying to get off the ship. The aliens attack them. So it's really just it's just a way to watch the body count go up. Ripley finds the queen. The queen has also been mixed with Ripley's human DNA. So now the alien queen is able to give live birth as opposed to laying eggs and everything. And so the queen...
The bit where the crazy scientist guy is like,
Yep.
that's your gift to her,
Yep.
a human reproductive system.
Yep.
No,
So
she's perfect. And you can see the queen there with her giant bulbous
uterus,
thorax, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is perfect. Every woman who ever gave birth is like, no, a man thought. Thanks for the human reproductive system. I hated laying eggs everywhere.
The creature that is born is this human xenomorph hybrid infant creature that is very big, very violent, starts killing everybody. Ripley feels slightly maternal to it. The xenomorph hybrid recognizes Ripley as mother. There's some weird maternal moments, and then she kills it. They get out, the place blows up, and they...
in the stupidest way possible, she kills him.
Normally we talk about actors who dodge the bullet, but with the Alien series, it's actually a lot of times directors who dodge the bullet. So
the cast is solid enough.
For this movie, the directors who were offered the role were Danny Boyle, who was the director of Trainspotting, Sunshine, and 28 Days Later. He turned down the project. Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson wasn't interested in doing an Alien film, so he turned it down. Bryan Singer was offered the job after Usual Suspects in 97.
Wow.
And he turned it down. So you have the director who stepped in is Jean-Pierre Jeunet. He took on the project and would later go on to direct Amélie.
It was a good movie, but it's very different from this.
Yes, this is a very stylized film, I suppose. He didn't speak much English, and he required to have an interpreter on the set. He also apparently offered up 5 different endings, and most of those were rejected due to budgetary cause. Joss Whedon also offered up 5 different endings and had to keep rewriting. So Joss Whedon, he wrote the script. He wasn't the director. He wrote the script in 97. People were impressed with his screenplay abilities. His original script intended for the main character of the film not to be Ripley, but to be the clone of the character Newt from Aliens, who was killed off in Alien 3. Reportedly, it was the studio's idea to focus on the adult clone of Newt, and then it was also their idea to change the clone to Ripley, which forced Joss Whedon to change his 30-page treatment to fit Ripley in instead. Though the clone angle is apparently what won Sigourney Weaver back to the franchise, as she wanted the character of Ripley to die in the 3rd film to save her from a life of waking up and fighting xenomorphs, but she thought the clone angle and the xenomorph hybrid angle would give her something more interesting to do. Winona Ryder for this film signed on without reading the script.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So
mistakes were made. Heard that this thing had a lot of problems, like on the production. That contributed to how terrible it is.
I was reading some stuff. They had trouble finding a backlot to film because of all the films that were happening in 97. I think Titanic, The Lost World, and something else I had seen. They were all just taking up space, and Alien Resurrection needed just to, find stuff like that. I didn't write this down, but the water scene in this film where they're all swimming in the water in the Xenomorph show, it actually, one, gave Winona Ryder an anxiety attack because she had almost drowned as a child and she didn't want to do the scene.
It's the first time she did an underwater scene.
Yeah.
Since that happened,
Yep.
I believe.
And it almost killed Ron Perlman because he smacked his head on a pipe underwater and was knocked out cold, and divers had to go in and rescue him.
Huh.
So regarding his script, Joss Whedon is quoted as saying, "It wasn't a question of doing everything differently, although they changed the ending. It was mostly a matter of doing everything wrong. They said the lines mostly, but they said them all wrong. And they cast it wrong. And they designed it wrong. And they scored it wrong. They did everything wrong that they could possibly do. There's actually a fascinating lesson in filmmaking, because everything they did reflects back on the script, or looks like something from the script, and people assume that if I hated it, then they'd have changed the script. But it wasn't so much that they changed the script, it's that they just executed it in such a ghastly fashion as to render it almost unwatchable." And I know, Enz, you're apparently a fan of Whedon. I think he's kind of a dick. And I kind of think this is a pretty... Okay, Joss, I'm sure your script was Christ Reborn in screenplay form, but there were some bad ideas in here anyway. So
I think it was probably a wonderful script, because Joss Whedon can do no wrong. And, yep.
I will vehemently disagree with Enz on that one, but and I am mostly a fan of Joss Whedon's work, I agree with Dust that he as a person, he's a dick. Like,
that's one of those things where like we just talked Dragon Ball Evolution, and the screenwriter he had this huge apology out saying how like he's tried to put it off, but everything comes back to the script. And he apologizes. He feels like he let down Dragon Ball fans. Sorry, it's his fault. If he had made a better script, you might have had a better movie. And Joss Whedon's like, this isn't my fault.
I mean, I did read that which is interesting because I can't imagine how it would have worked. But that Joss Whedon intended this to be more of a tongue-in-cheek type thing. So, like, imagine more like Firefly. To be honest, I don't understand his idea there, but
is that going to appease Alien fans either?
I don't quite get how that would have fit in the franchise either.
So, sequels were planned, as Joss Whedon had planned for the 5th film to take place on Earth. But Sigourney Weaver didn't have much interest for that setting, and there were constant rewrites, and so none of that would come to pass, and the Alien franchise would lay dormant until 2004's Alien vs. Predator. Also, I'm getting very tired of saying this on this podcast, but Disney now owns 20th Century Fox and the Alien franchise.
Wow.
Enough of that. It's time to say our 3 nice things.
I'm gonna start, and this is really hard. Like, this was harder to do than Battlefield Earth.
I gotta say, watching you and Ens talk about it on Twitter and in the Discord, it was like, boy, I'm glad I'm not feeling this pain.
Yeah, this hurt me. Okay, so so my first nice thing is there is a scene where there are alien eggs all in a room, and there are a bunch of poor humans in front of them, and you know what's going to happen to them. They're just basically, a meat for the aliens, so we can get more aliens. And I thought that was cool because anytime a face hugger eats stupid humans, it's awesome. So there you go.
Yeah, Prometheus and Covenant kind of do that. Like, prior knowledge to the eggs allows you to do that kind of setup now. Like, because you know how the face huggers work, they can now... In the first one, it was just like, what is that? But now it's just like, oh no, they're in a room with eggs.
Yep. So. And you could tell the movie because I didn't really care, like, my God, there's eggs, and you get that sense of like dread that, I mean, in Resurrection there's not that, but it's a cool scene. So
Resurrection, I think Resurrection, it does try to be a dark comedy, and it doesn't work a lot of the times. And I think they try to do like that, like, haha, look at these guys just lined up in front of eggs.
And it says a lot too about Sigourney Weaver as an actor, because I feel like she carries this movie, and that's
skipping ahead. And what's your first nice thing?
Well, that's actually I wrote down that Sigourney Weaver is a national treasure.
There you go.
And I mean, I can't just name an actor as a good thing about a movie. I feel like that's cheating. But her acting, it carries a lot of this movie. Yeah, and that's it's a tough carry. It's a lot of weight to carry. But she pulls off, because you can tell that Ripley is not Ripley. You can tell that she's wrong, but she's still sort of Ripley. And she pulls off. She seems crazy, like mentally something's not right, and she pulls off being strong, kind of maternal, protective, and just slightly wrong. And I don't know. I think she does a great job, so that basically eats up every scene she's in and is like the one good thing about them. And thankfully, she's in a lot of the movie.
I liked. I was thinking when I was watching it, I liked her performance on in the basketball court with her where Ron Perlman's like, give me the basketball, and she's totally unfazed, but she's
so badass there,
and she's like just purposely just being a prick to him, just like
she's
the
confident, like asserting dominance.
The way she's like just she's not even like bouncing the ball that fast, and then she likes doing it behind his head, and there's just this look of like serenity on her face, like, yeah, go ahead, eat this crap, you jerk.
One might say she's regal, like a queen.
Yeah. There's also that scene where she falls into that weird alien mesh pit.
Oh my God.
I
want to like appreciate her acting, but the scene itself just annoys me so much.
Yeah.
But it's hard, and it felt like too that they didn't know what they wanted from this character, in the sense of, so is she pro-alien or is she not pro-alien?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sigourney Weaver does a good job of balancing it as much as she can, like those two sides of this quote unquote clone. But I feel like even the writer did not make it very clear, or maybe somebody didn't make it clear who this clone was, because it feels like in some scenes like she doesn't. I don't know. I think the Ripley parts feel forced more than the she's just different now, and she's like in that scene with her screwing, like that basketball scene. That's not really a Ripley thing. That's more of a now I'm this superior being and I'm just gonna screw with you, which I'm cool with. But that's not like Ripley would have just kneed him in the nads and walked away and been done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Ripley is more no nonsense.
Yeah,
as we know her from before, but I guess it works with the whole predatory nature of the xenomorphs and
exactly
something. Yeah. She really balances it well, though. The fact that you can tell that she kind of feels kinship with the aliens, but also knows that they're horrible murder machines that need to die.
All right, I'll pick the least controversial one first, because I definitely feel like my last one you guys would be like, no. But I thought this movie, tone-wise, it's all over the place and it doesn't have a strong tone. But I thought a lot of the kills were successful with that dark comedy. But I also thought a lot of the deaths in it.
I mean, like
well, I mean, like a lot of them. So the scene where an alien has killed the mercenary captain, and there's a big hole in his chest, and the alien's looking down at the body. And her gun just comes through the corpse and shoots the alien in the head. And there's the scene where all these soldiers are jumping into the escape pod, like, go, go, go! And a xenomorph's just climbing right in there with them, and it just becomes a blender. And they don't show what's happening inside, but you just see blood splashing everywhere, and one guy tries to get out, and it's just, that stuff is just so, like, ridiculous that in a better movie, it would probably play... it would be either cooler or funnier. I don't hate the way she kills the alien hybrid baby thing. The way she uses her acid blood to melt the glass, which then sucks him out through a tiny hole. And it's all of that stuff is just like, oh yeah, that's fun. For me, anyway. I'm not really the water one, though. I was kind of disappointed by the whole water scene. I'm not usually somebody who likes gore, but even the way when infant alien kills the queen by just knocking off the top of its head, and so it's just a bottom jaw, I'm just like, that's gross, but it's also kind of funny.
I mean, that part was kind of badass.
Yeah.
It's only kind of ruined by the fact that it looks like the baby looks like it's made of Play-Doh.
See, I don't know.
And bad.
The thing is, like, I'm saying I like... These are, like... I guess I find them unique and kind of funny, but its tone is so bizarre that I don't know if I should be laughing. Or if, like, they want me to laugh. Like, when it knocks the queen's jaw off, should I be like, oh no! Or should I be like, haha, that's funny? Because it is just all over the place. The scene where the aliens escape by killing one of their own to use its acid blood to create a hole so they can get through. I'm like, that's pretty clever. So the way everything is dying, I guess, it's clever. And maybe that the xenomorphs escaping from their pen is the only one they intended to have us laugh at. But I don't know.
I don't know if they intended to have you laugh at that as much as go, oh, shoot.
Yeah, well, if it was supposed to be an oh, shoot move, they failed.
How could they not contain them better in this? Because they know they have acid blood.
Yeah.
But you talk about the laughing at the deaths and stuff. I mean, the obvious one there is character was called. I just call him Colonel Eyebrows.
Oh, right. He gets hit in the head and then holds some of his brain.
Double mouth back in the back of the head, and then he stands there being Mr. Eyebrows and
going kind of cross-eyed.
Pulls out a piece of his brain and looks at it, and like that was like an obvious comedic effect kill, which felt sort of violently discordant with the overall tone you'd think they were going for.
Like
exactly
that
what you're
saying,
that it's all over the place.
Work for an alien movie, like it's not a. And I don't understand. Like if you would hope that these writers and directors, when you take over a franchise like this, you want to respect what came before you. Yes, add something new, sure, but like maybe respect the tone. So there's nothing humorous about aliens, like any of them. So all of a sudden wanting to make it like this, like it just blows my mind.
Yeah. Well,
like if Whedon wanted to make it more of a dark comedy thing, like channeling Buffy, make it what Firefly was going to be, I don't get how he was going to have that work. Like if he's complaining that people like they played it straight and it didn't work, but like why if you're gonna
nothing in this movie seems like it's
being
being played straight though, too. So I don't know what, but
stuff like that in. It's obviously ridiculous.
In defense of Whedon as well, I guess in '97, at this point, he's probably just taken it as like a work for hire situation too.
I mean, who wouldn't want to write an Alien script, you know?
Yeah. So, and I think for a long time, he had a hard time getting his scripts done the way he wanted them. So, Crystal, what's your second nice thing?
I'm going to kind of piggyback off of yours.
Oh, fun.
The intelligence of the alien in that scene where they kill one of their own, I thought was well done. If you kind of just take that scene and put it in a vacuum, that by itself is awesomely disturbing. Because you've never seen aliens turn on each other before.
That's
You've
true.
seen them swarm to protect the queen.
They're hive minds, yeah.
Right, and you've seen them kidnap humans, and so you know that they're smart. But this kind of this purposely killing one of their own, and how did they decide it was going to be this dude? Like both of them kind of ganging up on this one alien to murder the shit out of him. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, just by itself, it's a really dark scene, and that's the type of scene that belongs in Alien,
and
an alien movie. So
the alien they're about to murder is making like, hey, don't do this kind of sounds.
Oh my god, that stupid roar. That who was like sounds. Alien roar now? Who did that? Who was like, that sounds the aliens make?
They used like gator sounds and they used the bear sounds.
Oh my god, why were they so slimy?
So slimy.
When they're killing the other one, I also kind of think like, oh, so they also know how their blood works. Which is, it is just kind of fun. I don't know if that's like one of those things we should be like, they're so intelligent, or if that's a thing as a viewer we should be like, that's kind of dumb. How would they know that their blood is acid and will melt? You know, it's especially
spitting acid.
Well, maybe they just know.
I'm okay with like the aliens knowing that because they've always been this kind of, they've always been touted as the perfect killing machine, but the movies did a really good job of not just telling you that, but showing you that.
This movie, is this movie the one that uses the acid blood the most?
I would, yes, I would say, because you don't get it too much in Alien.
Well, right.
And in Aliens, it's done really well because it just shows that if you shoot the alien wrong, it's going to hurt you too.
Right.
So it's done really well in Alien and Aliens.
Okay.
In Resurrection, it's kind of like, I think they just had a thing with goo in this movie. I swear.
That's
There's so
true,
much freaking like slime and unnecessary goo
there was
in this movie. It's ridiculous.
There was a cut scene to do with the acid blood again, where a mosquito was gonna bite Ripley and then fly away and turn into smoke because of the acid blood, but they didn't do it because of the CGI cost. But also, I was thinking like, why would there be a mosquito on the spaceship? So I don't.
Why did the movie open up with some guy flinging bug guts through a straw? Whose idea was that?
Oh, sorry.
I mean, we saw that bug they zoom in on. It's got the big stupid eyes.
Oh
and
my
god!
We
thought it was a studio logo or something because that.
It goes on for so long too. Like there's such a close up of him rubbing bug guts between his fingers, and you're just like, what?
And your second nice thing. We're only on 2.
Okay.
But in another way, you're halfway there.
In the tradition of mentioning specific scenes, I actually thought, and this is the Ripley family reunion is what I've called it.
Are we talking
when she finds the room with all the failed clones?
The clone room.
The clone room, where they look, various degrees of gross and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like one that looks very, very much more like an alien, one with like a mouth kind of ruined on the side of its face, and this weird big-headed dwarf and things, and we have the one still alive.
Yep, with her face,
weird melty flesh puppet.
Yeah,
Ripley with her face on it.
Yep, she looks like the big fat vampire guy from the first Blade.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. She's just like, she can talk too. She just says, "Kill me."
She just says, "Kill me." And I mean, I actually thought that scene was pretty good, and it wasn't like, oh, this is ridiculous, this is so bad or anything. I thought it was good. I thought it was made. I can't say in a respectful manner, but I thought it had basically the intended effect if you isolate it from the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
the whole Ripley seeing her
self,
the 1 through 7.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
And meeting 7, as it were, and then cleansing it all with holy fire.
Yep, she burns them all with a flamethrower. Yep. So, which is,
and then they just ruin it completely. That was, I mean, it could be a powerful scene.
Yeah.
There's be all the disturbing implications and how terribly wrong it is, and seeing what they've actually been doing, not just I'm clone number 8. You get to see what happened with 1 through 7, and then they just bomb and ruin it with Ron Perlman's one-liner. After.
What a waste of ammo.
Big deal. It's just a waste of ammo.
Yeah,
be a chick thing.
I guess
that maybe could have worked on a goofy, dumb, chauvinist character in a dark comedy. But it was so out of place in this. I don't know why they kept it, even for his character. It's just stupid.
The whole like kill me flamethrower thing is. I wonder if they're trying to be reminiscent of. It's a cutscene from the first one, right?
They were the first film and the second film that I said. And to me, and I understand why Enz likes the scene, because seeing the clones would have been like horrifying. As soon as she dropped the kill me, it felt cheap to me, because this movie is so terrible, you did not earn that iconic line.
Okay.
And that to me is an iconic line. Like the first time you hear it, oh my God, it's in the first Alien with the captain. It's like an extended cut version where you see him down there and he's being cocooned and literally like turned into an alien. And he says it, and then in the second one, it's in her dream, it's in what happens. So it's very an Aliens line.
Yeah.
So I see why they threw it in there, but your movie wasn't good enough to do that.
The movie on the whole, maybe it is. I thought it was.
These movies are so gross.
Before and after is just bad, but that scene on its own, I thought it was solid.
I also said the clone room.
Yeah.
I think he's right. I think it's one of the few scenes in this movie, if there are others, that has maybe the actual emotional oomph that it's trying to go for. The whole kill me line doesn't really bother me. I like it because I'm just like, yeah, she hates exist. This is all she's known, so please, just kill me. But yeah, Enz is totally right. Ron Perlman's whole like waste of ammo must be a chick thing. It does. It just anything they built up with that scene is gone.
Yeah, that one scene that has like emotion and some freaking gravitas, and then it's just like boom, dumb one-liner.
Yeah. And I like that Sigourney Weaver doesn't play that scene big. Like she doesn't, start screaming or breaking it. It's more just like resigned horror. Maybe she almost even expected to find a room like this eventually, but she's also pretty pissed.
Yeah.
So I think it works because the clone room kind of has that weird creature design that people kind of want in some of the Alien films. So that was N's second nice thing. That was my second nice thing. I hopped right on that one. So Crystal.
That means you got to come up with another one.
No. Winona Ryder's eyes look very innocent for a robot.
They always look innocent.
But I don't think she's a great robot. So I don't know. Maybe Crystal's last nice thing will be Winona Ryder. Crystal?
Crap. I'm trying to think of a third nice thing.
What? You don't have this down? You didn't write this?
No, I didn't. I'm on the fly here, Dust. Okay, so my third. This is hard. It was hard on this movie. So my third nice thing will be that I like that I wasn't a fan of Wyona's acting. However, I do like that they threw in a android, and I like that they didn't make it like Bishop. So I appreciated that they didn't try to go another Bishop route when they're giving you that little exposition when they find out that she's really an android, and they're talking about how like the androids, whatever, they started like a revolution or some shit. I don't even know what they're talking about in there. But that whole like little scene about how things are different for androids now, I thought that was interesting, and could have been I don't know. I thought it was an interesting little. I'm not a fan of her acting in this movie, like, at all. I think she can act 1,000 times better. I feel
Well, it's
like
the same.
Should have read the script.
Same goes for Ron Perlman, who's like usually a very solid added element, but his character's so obnoxious, not even he can save it.
Yeah. So yeah, she felt wrong in this role, and I think that's what comes with not reading the freaking script.
Maybe,
But I did like that they threw in, like, because aliens, you gotta have an android, and it was an annoying android like David, so I'm okay with it.
It did feel. I mean, Winona she was young back then, but she was young, full of promise. Well,
in '97, I mean, she would have been. This would have been before Girl Interrupted, but after a lot of her '80s stuff. So
I mean, she was.
She has the acting chops, but everybody in this movie, I think, had the acting chops, but just too many things.
And then I kind of thought they were gonna go the whole. She's gonna be the new alien girl. She's gonna replace Sigourney Weaver.
That would but she. I think Winona Ryder could probably play that better than the android part, but maybe.
Oh, she probably could, yeah. But I'm also kind of glad they didn't try to spin it that way into just a Winona Ryder powered sequel.
There's a lot of yelling in this movie.
Although, considering what came later, that might have been better.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll go next end so we can end on an Alien fan.
Aw.
And because you guys will hate this one. I don't hate, and in fact, I kind of like the weird human hybrid alien monster baby at the end.
No,
God, no, why does?
But here's why. I think they get the facial animations on this puppet. I think it's able to go from being angry and murderous to looking sad and confused very well, and I think you would be those two things if you woke up and you were this giant alien. I don't even know what color to describe it as. It's the color of a tofu turkey. So when it's interacting, there's that scene with Winona Ryder where it's trying to reach Winona Ryder and it has a sad face, and I'm like, oh, what's it feeling? But then it screams and reaches for it. I'm like, it's just sad it can't reach it. I recognize this in my golden retriever sometimes. And the scene where Sigourney Weaver kills it by sending it, its scream is pretty like, that would probably suck. And also its face of like, but you're my mom! You're my mom!
I mean, I guess, like, animation-wise, and I hate the way it looks. It looks awful.
It looks
got, like, very human skull-like features, and then it's got these sunken eyes there.
I thought the sunken eyes and stuff looked better when something flashes, and it's just kind of, like, shown in that very bright light for a second, because that's when like lightning not lightning, I guess, but when the lights are flashing and there's a big alarm, its eyes look more human in that part, and that's a little bit like, ugh, for me.
I don't know. I guess if you're gonna mix, because the xenomorphs have an exoskeleton, and humans have endoskeletons. So I guess they get it kind of wrong there, and just have like a skull shape, maybe face. I don't know.
Well, anyways, I knew as soon as you guys started talking at the beginning, I was like, oh, they're not gonna like this one. So
that's the part I remember 20 years ago that I hated.
That's my last nice thing. You could basically, I guess from my nice things, you could probably tell how into the series I am in general. So, but
that scene where the baby turns around and kills the queen alien infuriated me so much, because the queen alien is such a badass that I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. This freaking fetus just slaps her jaw off, and that's the end of it.
I think that's one of those scenes that's supposed to be like, see how much more powerful this new one is, but it doesn't work. Because
it's asserting dominance. It's the queen is dead. Long live the king. Because I do feel like he's male.
Oh yeah, he is.
It's a boy.
It's a boy. I feel like they did a better job of that in Prometheus at the end with that new alien, that weird thing. I know you hate that movie ends, but if you had to pick the alien from Prometheus or the alien from Resurrection, like, which one was actually scary?
I can't. Because that was also so bad.
Oh.
That was awful.
We're making Enz sad. Now Enz has to end the podcast with his last nice thing.
I do want to say that I guess some of the part about the alien hybrid baby sort of makes sense. That he's part killing machine and part newborn human. Mentally he would be messed up, and he's also like full alien queen size and super strong, so part of the writing of it makes sense.
It's all stuff that would be better executed, would probably be better, that like the concepts are maybe there, but it's just not there.
My last thing then, I just had to write these down because I hadn't saved my text file apparently. So I don't know if I put this down last or I think I put it down middle, but it's kind of an inoffensive thing. It's just generally a nice thing. We know 90s CGI is terrible, as we saw in the start of the film and the aliens, but the practical effects look fine. They look good. The scenery, the dude's gun wheelchair, the costuming. I think all the set stuff was done well. It fits in the series, the aesthetics of it all. I don't know. It's not like oh my god, this is such a nice thing. I thought that worked. I thought they built everything okay.
Yeah, that's probably them benefiting from starting from a point of strength already. Like it, how it's hard. They do it, and other things, but like it's hard to take the basic alien design and either try to improve it or make it worse. So like if you just
they didn't do that, but just like the ship they're on,
right.
the stuff they're wearing, the uniforms, and then the mercenaries who have style and stuff and like the dude's treaded wheelchair. It's like a track chair. I thought that was done. I thought it was done well.
Even though it's like a military ship, it still kind of feels like a dirty ship, like the other series. Like it's a dirty universe. It's a grungy, kind of worn out universe, and even this like high-tech military science vessel is still just like grungy and gross. Like
you might see a clean lab coat, but everything else, like everywhere on the ship, it has unnecessary steam vents and stuff, as it should be.
Crystal, you're awfully silent about this. Do you not agree with this nice thing here?
No, it's not. I feel like I'm just really hard on this movie. Maybe like unnecessary. Whatever. I have my feelings.
That's okay. You're saying three nice things, and you can be as mean as you want after.
Oh yeah.
I see what Enz is saying, but for me, it felt like a cheap knockoff, and I don't know how to like. You guys both kind of described like the atmosphere, and I remember watching like the opening scenes too, and like the hallways and stuff, and it felt like an alien movie to me, but it felt like a cheap, dirty one. Like for me, like the moment you get into this station, it doesn't feel right to me. That's really hard to describe. Like in the Alien Isolation video game, like from the moment you get in it, you feel like you're in an alien movie. You feel like you're in that universe. And I think even though 3 wasn't that good, you felt it there too. Like I didn't, when I first start that movie, even though it's very subpar for an alien movie, I don't feel like I'm in a cheap set. As soon as I get to Alien Resurrection, something just feels, and I don't know if it's the scientist characters that bother me too. Just I don't know the whole or the
I'm sure they do. They definitely do.
Oh my god, the lighting or I don't know, just something about it to me just doesn't. It's just like they tried but they got it wrong. Like I don't know. I guess maybe because the director, like I don't know, he just didn't know how to get it right. Like I don't.
The director did some weird things, and some of the. Also, I read something about how they used used silver for the film or something to like create starker contrast and all kinds of pretentious sounding stuff. But I don't know. Well, do the props look okay? Because the CGI is bad, and on its own, I guess the movie does look a bit cheaper and bad, but I specifically, consciously looked at like how does that blast door look in the dude's chair, and then I'm like, what about their costumes? And I'm looking at them specifically to see if I can say this is a nice thing, and I think I can. The movie didn't, maybe help sell it.
I think some of the disconnect visually is that as a 97, like 1995 through 97, they have movies like during then have like a very kind of specific look, I think, in terms of even just like whatever film they're using. I think maybe that, like, even Alien 3 still kind of has a vibe of like an 80s kind of look to it, but this one technologically it just can't hide the fact that it's a 90s film, and I think there is that weird kind of disconnect. The technology, even like the camera uses, the way it's like there's so much so much cameras on cranes in this film.
It's weird.
They were so obsessed with how they could that they didn't stop to ask if they should.
Oh, hey, all right.
And that's true, because I really blame the director for that too, because a hilarious thing about Aliens is where James Cameron shot this movie, I believe they were shooting it in Britain, and he had to fight a lot of the time with set, what the guy said at the set, because they kept lighting everything up.
Yeah.
Like he'd go to lunch and come back, and like that whole scene where the Marines are in that corridor, that thing was like they put lights everywhere, and he's like, no, he's like, this is not. He's like, no, this has to be. So I mean, put your foot down, director. Like, damn it, this is your movie. Make the set look like you want it to look.
Yeah.
But then he went on to make Amelie.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously that's where it looked. I was looking up his filmography. It doesn't seem like Alien Resurrection is the type of film he makes on a regular.
Doesn't fit. No, I did the same thing, and I'm like, wait, he did that and this?
Wonder
what?
If a different director could have shaved this film. I'm quite curious.
I don't know. I mean, I like Danny Boyle. I like Peter Jackson. I mean, at this point in time, Peter Jackson's probably more known for smaller, low-budget horror films.
At this point, yeah.
In '97, so I don't know if he had done Beautiful Creatures yet. Right, no, it wasn't. He would at this point probably still trying to sell Lord of the Rings. So I mean,
so here's the Brain Dead guy, the Dead Alive, and Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, Danny Boyle went on to do his like sci-fi space film with Sunshine, and that's fantastic.
All right, that was him.
I guess with Bryan Singer, you might have benefited from his ensemble cast experience, but I don't know if that would have equaled a better Alien film.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe they just shouldn't have made Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling
kind
like
of shouldn't
that.
have, but I don't know. Any one of those would have probably made it, I think they would have made it visually better for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think something might have been lost in translation with this director, or he just didn't have a sense. I mean, even the CGI, like those, I mean, the alien just looked wrong in some of those.
The water scenes specifically, watching them swim, they're so slow in the water, which is surprising. You think it's going to be this big, like, scary, like they're going to be so fast and dangerous in the water, but they're not. They're slow. They're CGI.
In general, their teeth look so weird, metallic, almost glassy.
Even like, when an alien opens its mouth is terrifying enough. And then that little second head comes out. If you are not pooping yourself, then there is something wrong. And every time I saw the alien, it just looked, I don't know, like,
wrong.
Just wrong. Yeah.
No.
Just wrong.
Ooh, bonus nice thing if I want. Just a quick one.
Do you want to say a bonus nice thing about Alien Resurrection? Go ahead.
Do it.
I actually liked Nerd Guy, who escapes the, I guess he's one of the cryogenic cryopod people, like bull rushes.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, and gets shot a bunch of times, and then he uses the alien chests to murder.
Cool. He was cool.
Oh, yeah.
I like that part because he got described in painstaking, honest to detail, Ripley, what has happened to him, what is going to happen. And as he feels himself dying, at the moment of this confrontation with this absolute jackhole who is behind this, he just roared in his last moment.
That fits with my nice thing about the unique kills. It's just
so that was well done. That scene where he's like standing there screaming, "What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me?" and nobody is answering him. I thought he acted that really well.
He did. And then Ripley just tells him, like, they put an alien inside you. It's a terrible one, and it's gonna burst out of your chest cavity and kill you.
Yeah.
And it's one of the parts where you kind of laugh, not because it's stupid, but because, heck yeah, right on, you know? It's like, oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
And he's this kind of pathetic guy, but then he just, like, resigns himself to his fate, and then he just...
Well, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah. Well, you don't. But...
Well, that's as nice as we're going to be on this episode, and a little bit nicer than I thought they were going to be. I got to ask you guys, Ends, it had been more than 20 years since you saw this film. Are you ever going to watch this film again?
Probably not.
All right, so there you go. Crystal, same?
Heck no. I'm going to put it in the box. I'm going to put the box in the darkest depths of the ocean, and as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
All right, there you go.
It was for 20 years, so yeah.
It's kind of funny because I just watched it 2 years ago, and I'm like, I didn't want to watch it again after that, so I don't plan on it. My wife has never seen the Alien films, so we're gonna watch the first two sometime. I don't know if we'll ever. I don't know if she'll watch Resurrection. Is not one I need to watch again. I mean, I guess I would if she wants to watch all of them. Like how I don't ever need to watch Terminator Salvation or Genesis again. You know, it's just like
you don't though.
Certain movies they don't need to be trilogies or quadrilogies or whatever we call 4 films. They can be 2 films and you don't have to make another one. Ends. Where can people find you?
Well, people can find me honestly mostly on Discord these days, but I do plan on getting back to content creation on Twitch, where they can find me at twitch.tv/Ensville_games.
Is that the same for Twitter too?
The Twitter is at Ensville Games, all in one word, no underscore, because underscores are a great idea apparently, except they're awful. And also, I guess facebook.com/Ensville Games, variety streaming video games.
Crystal.
Find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Crystal Storm, and they can find me on the internet, on Twitter and Instagram at Writer Streamer. There's a website, but I'm not done with it, so I'm not giving out the address yet.
And your stream, I mean, you don't just stream video games, you stream your content creation as well.
I do. We do video games, we do book reviews, we sometimes geek out on do some movie reviews, and then I make you guys hang out with me while I work when I'm putting together like videos or brainstorming my 3rd book that I'm writing and stuff like that. So we're definitely variety streaming.
There you go. And I'm duskvstweak everywhere online, and apart from the other shows on Radio Meanwhile, which are previously on X-Men and Is It Classic, Does It Rock? I'm also the co-host of the podcast, The All the Book Show, and you can find me also on Twitter or Twitch on a regular basis. Thank you to Prophetic Music for our theme song. Please join us in the upcoming episodes as we tackle Nicolas Cage's Season of the Witch, another Ron Perlman film, and Batman and Robin.
Oh no.
Oh my God, you watching Batman and Robin?
I've already watched Batman and Robin. I just saw it in theaters during the re-release.
Wait, what?
They just re-released all the original 4 Batman films, and me and my friend saw all 4 of them and had a pretty good time. You know what? Actually, it'll be nice. Season of the Witch, I don't think it's 20th Century Fox. I feel like we've done a lot of Fox films. Fox puts out a lot of bad movies.
I just watched Season of the Witch, and I didn't think that was a terrible film.
Well, we'll see. It's on Netflix, so I'm going to watch it for the first time. It's got some pretty bad reviews, so we'll see. And I'm actually, little sizzle, I'm going to be a little bit more positive about Batman and Robin than I ever thought I would be due to the past re-release. I watched it in theaters and I kind of come away going like, okay, but I'm going to save that for that episode. Again, you can find more about this show and others like it at the network's website, radiomeanwhile.com, and you can follow this podcast on Facebook or Twitter at Nice Things Pod. Please rate, subscribe, and share the show on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts, and see you next episode.
3 nice things.